Greetings, Trey.
Hey, Austin, you like SeatGeek?
Well, what's that?
Well, Austin, let me tell you 1 minute. Buying tickets online for sports and concerts has always been a confusing process for a long time.
Let's go. We got a minute.
It's always hard to find those deals online because they just want to get you. They just want to get you.
A little faster.
But you know what? SeatGeek is different. They've come along and created an amazing app and website to make it easier than ever for fans to buy and sell tickets.
Oh, yeah?
It's so easy. You go on the app, you look at it. SeatGeek does all the price comparisons for you by searching multiple ticket sites and ensuring that you get the best possible deal. SeatGeek does all the work. You save time and money.
Well, fuck me. I'm going to go download it right now, and I'm going to get all the colored full seats that I want, Trey.
You know, best of all, Austin, our listeners, Super GamesCast 64 listeners.
They have to pay full price, right?
No.
What?
Not true, sir. They get a $20 rebate off their first SeatGeek purchase.
What? What?
You know what you do? You download the SeatGeek app, you go to the settings tab and add the promo code SUPER, S-U-P-E-R.
What's that? What was the
SUPER? The promo code is SUPER.
Okay.
And you they'll send you $20 after you've made your first SeatGeek purchase.
Awesome.
Download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code SUPER today.
Yes.
Do it.
Let's go.
Tell and roadie. Go tell and roadie. Go tell and roadie that everybody's dead.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Super GamesCast 64. I am your host, Trey Mitchell.
Got your radio voice on, huh?
It's my radio voice.
Welcome back.
Yeah, today we're reviewing another game, but you know what I forgot is my my promo thing for the show we're gonna do. You want to go get that in the studio, and I'll introduce our special guest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know,
I'm gonna go
the
look
paper
through.
that Mike Marshall gave us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go get it.
Go get it,
I'm
Austin.
a good employee.
You're a good employee. You're a good friend and a good podcast host. Yeah. Today, this is Super GamesCast 64. This is the show where we discuss video games and review video games. Really just review the games, actually, now. And we got a guest today, Franklin Sizemore. Franklin, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. How you holding up there? And where are you? Where are you right now? I guess in the world.
Got it, Trey.
In the world right now.
You're just in the world.
Temporarily
in the world.
Aren't we all?
Well, we only have a little bit of time.
Alabama.
You're in Alabama?
Yes.
Okay. So you know all about Resident Evil 7 in Alabama.
Well, I think it actually takes place in Louisiana, but
it doesn't matter.
Look past that.
If it's not Texas, it's nowhere.
Okay.
It's how we think about it.
I think I understand the company I'm in now.
No, man. So a little background, Franklin. I guess met you. I don't know if I'd say met, but I know about you because you were very you have a big presence. Austin's wiggling his eyes. You have a big presence on the kind of funny the forums, and you always seem to be writing in, and you definitely are sort of a up and comer, I guess, as far as I see you writing, doing a YouTube channel. You seem to always have your stuff out there, and I thought, I saw that you were going to be playing Resident Evil 7 in VR, and I thought, what the hell? Let's get you on, because you seem like a good guy. You seem like you're doing a lot of good things. I guess if you want to kind of promote your stuff right now, that'd be a good place. I know you have a YouTube channel right now and a podcast, right?
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel, although my podcast is moving to a more popular one that my friends manage.
Okay.
So more on that later. If you just want to get everything that I get, you can just follow me on Twitter. You'll see everything there at TheArcticSloth.
TheArcticSloth? Okay.
Yes.
All right, man.
But yeah, if you just follow me there, you should be able to catch everything I do. I do a weekly podcast called The PlayStation Report. But as I said, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll hear about it.
Yeah. Excellent. Everyone go follow him on there. He's crazy. He does a lot of crazy stuff. He's almost kind of tickety. Little background. We all work at a radio station here called The Ticket, and it's just a bunch of knuckleheads doing weird knucklehead things. And I think our listeners would get a kick out of a lot of your weird shenanigans. Let's just say.
Yeah, I write some jokes sometimes. They usually resonate with the weirdest of people out there.
Oh, yeah. It's a good bit. It's a very good bit.
I mean, occasionally I wear less clothes than most people do, but it's all in service of the joke.
All in service of the bit. That's what we're about here. All in service of the bit. So before we, I guess, get to the actual podcast, I want to promote a Blowout Network event going on March 23rd at Club Dada. Blowout's 1 million, I guess it's 1 million download. Austin, 1 million download.
Well, what's up?
I guess Blowout Network has 1 million download.
1 million download
1 million
of what?
downloads. I don't know.
So
Just go with it.
people downloaded
Not our show, but all the shows. So there's like 20 shows now.
1 million downloads.
Ladies be tripping.
Damn.
We got 1 million downloads.
You're telling me 1 million people downloaded Blowout Podcast Network 1 million times.
Yeah, 1 million people downloaded it 1 million times.
That's a lot.
So it's gonna be March 23rd at Club Dada. Everyone's gonna be there. You got, It's Just Banner, Drag and Brag,
Never heard of
all your friends there. They're gonna pretend to shake your hand and then use anti-sanitizer to wash it off after, because they don't really care about you, but we care. We care. We're also gonna have different strokes and the Quaker City Nighthawks playing. And then Mike Marshall wrote "Suck My Dick" at the end there, so that's just great. It's professional, very professional of them to write that. Anyway, we've wasted a lot of time. We're wasting Franklin's time, so let's get to the review. So Franklin, are you familiar? Have you played the? How familiar are you with Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil franchise? Not the movie franchise.
Well, of course not the movie franchise. I completely skipped out on that. But as for the games, I did play through Resident Evil 1, 2, 0. I skipped 3. I played 4 and 5. And then now I'm coming back to 7. I heard really bad things about 6. So
yeah, I've heard bad things about 6 as well. Bad things. Austin and I don't mean to speak for you, Austin, but we're not that familiar. I'm familiar in sort of a hands-off basis of the first few, whereas Austin, you've not really.
I'm not that familiar. I watched my friend Ron Macklin play Resident Evil 4 on his GameCube with the gray hair guy.
The gray hair guy?
Doesn't that one have like a gray haired young guy?
Oh yeah, blonde guy.
Yeah, and it seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know.
I thought you were talking about one of your roommates. Like, you have a gray hair roommate?
I have a no hair roommate.
You have a weird ass guy.
I know. I know as much about Resident Evil as probably most moderate gamers would. I know sort of about Umbrella Corp and Raccoon City, and there's zombies or something, and I kind of get the gist of it. It's an action thing. I've seen all the movies like 30 times.
Yeah,
so,
we're fans
we all
of the
have,
movies,
yeah. I try to watch one every night, and there's a new one coming out, so I'm really excited, but I've never played the games.
How far are you on Young Pope? By the way, we got to mention that every podcast.
My roommates.
No, are we done with Young Pope? Now we're on what is it?
Well, I haven't finished Young
Pope
yet.
Baby.
Oh, Boss Baby. That's right. Yeah. No, I'm getting ready for the Boss Baby opening day party I'm throwing. So I'll see you there at midnight on that Thursday.
You're ready for Boss Baby, Franklin?
I would like to provide no comment on whether or not
he's stoked for
I am
Boss
ready
Baby.
for that.
He's into it. He likes it.
He's into it. Yeah, so my Resident Evil history is not very deep. This is the first one I played.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, same here. I'm familiar on a hands-off basis with the series, but this is sort of the first. And I've been meaning to get to the other ones, but this is the first one I've tackled, I guess.
sounds sexy.
It is sexy.
Good.
So yeah, I guess let's get everyone's initial impressions of the game. As you can see, Franklin, we're not that good at this review stuff.
Yeah.
So
TC.
yeah. Let's get, I guess, Franklin, what did you think being a guy who's played other Resident Evil games? What's your impression of the game as far as what it does to the series?
Oh, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I think it brings Resident Evil back into what made Resident Evil its own identity. Because early Resident Evils were, of course, third person, and they were like slow and plotting and puzzle solving, and then it moved more to like a third person action game. Well, this Resident Evil, it's kind of doing the same things, only in first person, which other horror games have been doing recently. So I think it's actually moving in a good direction where it's like taking that old style of game and just putting it into like a new format. And I think first person is just where horror like this lives.
Yeah. I definitely liked the kind of first person aspect, and I expecting it to be sort of more on the lines of at the beginning it definitely reminded me of PT and a bit of Outlast. But, as you play it, and for what my understanding of a Resident Evil game is, it definitely felt like a Resident Evil game. And I think that's important to know if you are not familiar with the series going into it. It is Resident Evil. It's not creepy things pop out at you. It is tense,
eerie.
The atmosphere of the game is so incredible, and I think really that first person perspective really adds to it. I kind of compared it to a bad dream where you're kind of powerless and you are being, stalked or something's after you. And because you run so slow in that game, you walk so slowly, you have barely any ammo, you have to manage everything. And those, like the mold monsters take so much to kill if you don't have a shotgun. And just being stalked by those that family, especially like Jack at the beginning, where you're just having to walk through the house and he's just around the corner. The atmosphere is just so well done. I think it's really incredible as far as a horror game. There's a lot of just things kind of. I think the scariest part of the beginning was just seeing kind of things walk past you in the hallway, or people walking past you. That's what always scares me more than jump scares. And I don't think there was only like a few jump scares in the game. There weren't that many jump scares at all. There's like a few. That one part where you're in that dark room and all the balls were going around, and I think it was the little girl's room. And then you open the door and it's the mold monster again, but there weren't too many jump scares.
They worked. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a jump scare inherently. It can be a good way to add a little cherry on top to a horror movie or game. Yeah. It's just they're overused today usually. But the ones in this I thought were really good. Like when you're first in the house and you walk down the hall, or when Jack is first chasing you and he crashes through the wall and it gives you a good spooking.
Yeah.
I like that. I like it.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at my notes here. It definitely kind of gives images, and I thought it was really interesting how they took a lot of inspiration from films. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, obviously Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the family,
Blair Witch,
a little bit of Blair Witch, in the woods. I could see a lot of Evil Dead, especially towards sort of the middle of it, where a lot of like old like Peter Jackson horror films where it just becomes grotesque and disgusting. And I really dug that, where things were kind of getting over the top. Towards the end, it kind of gets a little more sci-fi-ish. I don't want to spoil too much, but
they go to space.
They go to the moon.
Yeah, they fight. They're on an abandoned moon colony.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's that, and the ending of Horizon Zero Dawn is a moon as well. Right, Franklin?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, where else would they have found such a virus to infect people? It's aliens.
The moon.
The moon. It's always on the moon.
Aliens.
Trey, you want to know what I thought of the game?
Yeah, I want to know what you thought of the game.
Honestly, you want to know what I thought?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
I loved it.
Loved it.
I didn't expect much going in. Not saying like, oh, I have a low bar. I didn't really know what to expect.
Well, I don't think a lot of people expected much.
Yeah.
Going into it. As far as what I was, the whole scuttlebutt about it was, it was people were worried because there wasn't really much of a lead up to it. Correct me if I'm wrong. There wasn't, and then just sort of the whole baggage of Resident Evil and the baggage of Resident Evil 6.
Yeah.
And the kind of I don't know, it just didn't seem. I wasn't hearing much about it, but then when it came out, people were, giving it high praises, and
It's got great reviews.
Yeah, definitely has great reviews.
Yeah, I didn't. My view of Resident Evil before, before I played this game, correct me if I'm wrong. My view was kind of a futuristic, dystopian, Japanese megacorp kind of city horror thriller kind of thing. I guess I'm a little wrong, but I didn't realize the fact that this one was so down to earth kind of threw me off just a little bit.
It's down to earth at the beginning,
right? Yeah.
But it definitely becomes But that's kind of what I liked about. I think it's best when it's in the house.
Yeah.
Towards the beginning to the middle. I think once it gets towards the end, you start to get more of that, big corporation, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But man, it is strong when it is in the house and you have like one handgun and a few bullets and you're being just stalked. And it makes those little exploration rooms so uneasy because you never feel like you're safe. Even in like the safe house, you feel like even when you're in a safe room, you feel like something's gonna come out. You never feel safe in that house.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Because we went over our spookiest games last week, and I said Dead Space, and Dead Space is still up there, but I think this now may be the spookiest game I've ever played. This game, I played it only at night and with the lights off, and like way late at night every time. It gave me quite a spookin'.
Quite a spookin'.
Quite a spookin'. Yeah, when you're right. They do a really, really good job of building this world around you that you just don't know what's going to happen.
And also the world is kind of, with those movie references, you in your head you think, okay, Texas Chainsaw, you can kind of relate it to certain things, certain other mediums where it's like, okay, well, I know this is, they're probably going to eat me, or they're probably going to do this. That whole dinner scene was just freaking eerie as hell.
Oh yeah.
And then I forgot her name. The wife
Mia
is creepy as hell, and then the grandma who just appears everywhere.
Right.
Is man, it's, and then at the end you get what is his name? What's the son's name again? Lucas. Yeah. And it's kind of there's this. I don't want to ruin it, but there's this big puzzle at the end. And I think they also do a really cool job of using the videotapes you find as sort of a you play things twice. You play with the video game, or I'm sorry, you play with the video, the VHS, and then you see what you need to do in the actual game, or I guess in your actual story, where you're trying to find your girlfriend.
Yeah, I thought it was a really creative way to kind of make your own cutscene instead of just watching something like, oh, that's where that item is. You had to go find it still, and I thought it was a really creative, innovative way to keep it fresh.
I think for people that are kind of going into this blind, I think because I figure our audience, I don't know too much about our audience. I wish I did. I wish people would, I like to hear from people who listen. I don't know if they're more casual or hardcore or in the middle. I just assume everyone's Mike Soroy when listening to this. But going in, no. Because I know Resident Evil took a turn. Franklin, was 4 more actiony?
Yes, 4 was when it started to lean more into the third-person action game. People regard that one as like one of the best Resident Evil games, but it's also where the game series sort of pivoted when it comes to genre.
Right.
It most definitely was more action. There were more enemies on screen than any previous Resident Evil game. So it really leaned into that.
Okay. All right. And if you have anything else you want to say, man, just speak up as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You guys were talking about like atmosphere and environment earlier. You guys wouldn't believe how crazy, insane you have to be to play VR through that entire game.
Yeah,
especially
I can't
the
imagine.
opening sequences.
Yeah, like
The opening sequences are just like creepy and disturbing, and it's really, that house is gross.
yeah, it is disgusting. That whole house. Yeah, let's let me just finish the one statement before I definitely want to get into VR because that's that whole game. I just kept thinking about like, okay, what if I'm playing in VR? That must be batshit insane. But I think for the person who thinks this is a run and gun action game, it is not. You are having to deal with puzzles. You're puzzling back and forth. It's they're very tough puzzles. I mean, they're not, you need to know what you're doing. You can't just go and start shooting things. You need to realize you got to go here, then here, and you might go into a room accidentally where there's a whole bunch of bad guys, and then there's different doors. You got to get keys, and there's all these different puzzles and light puzzles. Light puzzles are pretty easy, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of inventory management. It's very spooky, and if you take your time, you'll have a lot of fun. Just know when you're getting into it. It's not a shooter by any means. But yeah, let's get into VR. You played it on PlayStation VR, and I guess the experience of doing it. Did you play the whole thing in VR?
Yes, I did. I didn't think I'd be able to get through it because my opening, like the first 3 or 4 sessions I tried playing in VR, I just got sick as hell.
Yeah, just motion sickness.
Just motion sickness because I wanted to play on the smooth mode because I know if I did the snap mode, it would limit what I'm able to do because I'd be snapping in between, and it's already more difficult in VR, I think. But I just wanted to make it as smooth of an experience as possible, so I just muscled my way through it. But yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
One of the things that makes it harder in VR is that you're aiming with your head.
Okay.
And that's just strange to me. I know I've played like other VR games like Res Infinite that do the same thing, but in this you have to be so precise because you have that little dot that you're shooting, and guiding that with your head is kind of difficult.
So are you using the analog stick to move, and you're just kind of moving your head as you kind of move in the hallway?
So that wouldn't necessarily work because you have to turn 360 sometimes. So what it does is that basically moving your head will change the direction you're going in. But it's kind of like just think of like your right stick as kind of rotating your body, and like you can rotate your head too and just walk in different directions.
Okay.
But you can rotate your body as well to like reorient yourself.
Okay. Yeah, I've had a little bit of experience with I guess a Oculus. So I haven't really tried a big game on the PlayStation Pro yet, or I'm not the PSVR yet. So I guess what were some of the hurdles you had to go through, what were, I guess, some of the more intense moments? Because I could imagine some of those boss fights, like the one with Jack in that very close area, a lot of the more darker scenes, like the ending where it's just a lot of things popping up. And I guess what were some of the most difficult or the most uneasy parts?
So let me be straight up here. I'm a fucking pussy. Okay.
It's all good.
I'm sorry. Am I allowed to curse on you?
No, yeah, you're definitely allowed to curse. Yeah, you're
okay.
fine.
I'm sorry. But yeah, like I get scared like no one else. So the biggest hurdles for me were when like I have no clue what's going to be behind this door or around the next corner. Occasionally I almost fall off my chair because I'm trying to lean over to peek around a corner and stuff.
Yeah.
So really it's just the fundamentals of playing the game, and in that it being harder with the aiming controls, it makes me adjust my tactics more. So it's more about managing space, so I can line up. I have time to line up shots.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have too much trouble with the boss battles, except can we assume certain things about who the bosses are?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you see the family, right? So.
Yes. So the one with Lucas was the most difficult for me.
Okay.
Because of the multi-tiered levels and like having to shoot different parts.
Yeah, going through that sort of. Okay. I could see that. Yeah, that one was. I think I know what you're talking about. The
one by the boathouse.
Yeah. That was intense. Definitely, I could see how that would be. Yeah, just kind of going those different levels. That would definitely. So you say you only got nauseous the first few times, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I kind of got my VR legs, as they call it, as I just powered through. But those first couple of sessions were rough. Like I was sweating. Like I had a fan on, had the AC on, and I was just sweating. And I couldn't tell why. And then I stopped playing, and then my eyesight got really screwy, and I just felt dizzy. So I guess this is the first game that has ever given me motion sickness. But it's also the first game that controlled that way, where it's smooth rotating of the body with the right stick and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very. So you sat down or stood up playing it?
I sat down playing it for the most part. I did stand up for the first boss battle.
Okay.
But man, it's just the jump scares, getting grabbed, getting moved around.
Yeah.
VR, that's just rough.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. It's just.
What about getting stabbed?
Have to deal with that.
What is that feeling of just when they're stabbing or poking you?
So it's at moments like that where I have to remember it's a video game and just laugh a little bit to myself. If I just laugh a little bit to myself about how dumb the situation is, that helps me adjust. But without that, it's just horrifying.
Mm-hmm. I guess would you recommend someone who just bought a PlayStation VR to play this in VR? I mean, does it hold up? Is it a good experience? I'd say all around. Do you feel like you had the best experience playing the game rather than just playing it normal?
I see. It's hard for me because if you're not as spooked or scary as I am, the immersion of being in VR really isn't the thing. I think a horror game like this, the gameplay is not as solid in VR because it's harder to control.
Yeah.
But I will say that the atmosphere more than makes up for it.
Yeah. It's very hard to control in general. I thought even just playing it, I had a hard. I'm terrible at first-person shooters, so I mean anything that doesn't have a lock on is just hard as hell for me. It was hard enough playing, shooting the mold monsters in the head. So, I could imagine having to use your head to kind of aim. That would be a bitch. Be a bitch and a half.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, and so let's talk about those mold monsters real quick here. When you first encounter that, and then you start seeing mold everywhere in the house.
Oh yeah,
that's unnerving. When's it going to come out at me?
Mm-hmm.
When is it going to happen? And if you have a good pair of headphones on and you can hear all the different sounds that are happening in the house, it's just you never, like you said earlier, you just never feel safe.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, and it does a really good job of just having just that oh shit moment. Every few hours, oh god, there's mold everywhere, and then there's I remember that one part where just the whole house is starting to get covered in the mold, and you're like, oh no, that everything's. I mean, I had a hard enough time even just killing those monsters, and they're scary too. The big tall ones I thought were the scariest. I didn't really think the backwards walking ones were that frightening, but for some reason that big one just lumbering at you was pretty terrifying.
Yeah. The only thing is, I wish they could have added some sort of sound to them to make them scare. I know I already said I'm really afraid of these things, but if they could have made them scarier by making them have a distinct sound or a cry or a roar or something like that, but they really don't have that.
No.
Which I guess kind of makes sense looking at what they are, but still.
I guess on the whole plot, what did you kind of think? Now, being spoiler free, but I still had questions as far as the story goes when they kind of summed everything up. And I guess it is a little hard to talk about it without saying spoilers, but so I guess how did you feel? What did you feel about the plot? How did you feel about how it kind of changed at the end, and sort of the connections? And I guess we can talk about connections to the Resident Evil series. Do you think those? Because there are a few weird kind of things about it, but I guess what did you think about the overall story and plot and whatnot?
I thought this was a good story for a reboot of Resident Evil, and while it might not be a complete reboot, I guess, since it does tie into the other games, it seems like it's non-sequential in a way with the other games in the series. I'm not sure if this is this. See, I don't know where this stands in the Resident Evil timeline. If this is at the beginning of the Resident Evil timeline or towards the end, it's hard to tell for me. I guess if I really looked into some of the logs and stuff in the game, I could probably figure it out. But just running through the game, if you don't look at any of that stuff, it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
because they give specific dates. The game takes place in mid-2017. I don't know where that falls in the timeline, but
yes, which I guess would mean this is kind of after everything that's happened so far, which is strange. It's just kind of strange how this experiment just pops up now.
Yeah.
But some of my favorite parts about the game is when it gets big and stupid, which other people are that's where it falls apart. But I like that because it's kind of a reminder that this is just a dumb game.
Yeah.
And you can have fun with it, and I like that about it. The whole sequence on the ship, I thought was interesting, and I thought it was really clever how it tied in, especially with how the game starts off with that email and how it ties in later in the game. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I thought they really used the videotapes, the VHS tapes, to probably the fullest potential. I thought they were just going to be kind of throwaway little side things, but they really were an integral part in telling that story, and with the birthday party puzzle, really making that pretty kind of easy to get through the second time, and then the whole ship, the whole video, the video in the ship, I thought that was a really cool thing they did. I thought they did a good job as far as interweaving those kind of story beats and having to play things over again, but not making it feel repetitive. You
yes.
Yeah. I guess, did you, man, it's hard to talk about this without spoilers, but the whole decision you have to make, I guess, I
mean, the decision is obvious.
Yeah. I watched a video of the other decision, and I thought that was pretty lame, but, because I guess there's a second ending, but it's really not that much to even go back unless there's a trophy or something for it. But it doesn't seem like there's really a point to go back. There's one obvious thing.
I think the second less favorable decision is the ending is a punishment for being dumb that.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's sort of a ludonarrative dissonance in a way where it's well, that doesn't make sense for the character, which is why do they even have that decision, I guess, to begin with? Yeah, if they're gonna do that. Yeah, so I guess Austin, what was probably your favorite part of the whole experience?
Probably the first hour or so.
Yeah.
I really liked, not knowing what was going on. Like, because once you get in the house and your goal is clear, it's get past the monsters and get out of the house, basically, and don't get killed by Jack. But when you're first there, you don't know what's going on, and they've done such a good job of both luring you into the house and creating such a terrifying atmosphere that every step I took was really exciting. Like, I didn't know it was going to be around this corner. I didn't know, especially once you start doing the first videotape of the 3 guys who get abducted, the spookiness of the house really comes out. Once you've kind of run around the house a few times, running from Jack and, fighting the molded people and stuff, you kind of get familiar with it and you get a sense of normalcy, and it's not quite as frightening. So I hadn't had a game really feel that eerie to me before that it did in the first hour.
We talked about VR with Franklin just a few minutes ago while he had to go out for a second. But did you have any questions for him about it and the VR stuff? And Franklin, let him know if we already talked about it, or you could just kind of give him a brief.
Yeah, so I was here when he was talking about the head turning and how nauseating it made him. I have played quite a bit of VR, and it's never really bothered me until I played first-person Minecraft. And it's really hard to do because the way it kind of turns you is not natural at all. It's really jerky, and it stops really fast and messes up your orientation. So that's kind of what you were feeling, Franklin? It just doesn't feel natural?
So it's not that it doesn't feel natural in like the way that like what you're seeing. It's just that your body doesn't feel it.
Right.
In the way like when you're turning your body in the game, it doesn't feel like your body's actually turning. And when you're turning your head around and then moving your body that way, it's not like your neck is going straight back to your torso again. So you have to like readjust to where like your body is facing and where your head's facing, and it's just really disorienting.
I guess it's more a problem with the hardware as of now. I don't know if this will go the way of 3D and stuff in a few years and no one will do it, but if they can improve the technology, this will be really cool. Because this sounds like a great game for VR as long as you have the stomach for it. Because to be spooked like that in 360 is pretty dope.
I mean, you can say that, but I would challenge you to play through Resident Evil 7 if you can in VR. That is, oh God, I'm still thinking about it. It's the game has stuck with me. I beat it like a week or two ago, and it's still stuck with me, like that whole experience.
Yeah, that's why I bought it on PS4 for the chance that I might get a VR and play it, because you've definitely sold me here to try it, but I've been hearing a lot about it. It's sort of one of pretty much the only big thing that at least big AAA game that has it right now. I know like Res Infinite's supposed to be great. I know Valkyria Chronicles is supposed to be pretty big. But as far as sort of a big AAA popular game, that's the only thing out right now that has VR capabilities.
I would like to provide a correction.
Oh, sure.
For your audience. Valkyria Chronicles, not a VR game.
You're
thinking about Eve Valkyrie.
Eve Valkyrie. Okay. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was stretching for something. Thank you.
Valkyria Chronicles. That was the PS3 game that recently got a remaster.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that's on me there. I'm sorry about that. No, it is Eve Valkyrie. Okay. I always get those two confused every time they talk about that on whatever show. I always get those two confused. So thank you for the correction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you think that Lucas sounded like Charlie Day doing the Southern accent and Always Sunny? That was pretty bad. It was funny. But
yeah.
I always like renditions of Southern accents and in media sometimes, or especially video games where it's not exactly right and it's a little hammed up,
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sounds like this.
Yeah, the laughs were a little hokey.
And you know, they're trying to make it sound like Texas Chainsaw or something, where
Right.
they're just really backwoods. But
Mhm.
I did think the Lucas guy sounded like Charlie Day when he's the oil salesman in the Always Sunny episode.
You gonna let us fill you up or what?
That was a little.
It's my favorite episode, by the way.
It's the best episode.
It is.
Probably
Yeah.
one of the best.
No, it's the best episode.
Do you like Always Sunny, Franklin?
You know, I don't want to disturb your audience here.
Sure.
But I have not watched more than 3 or 4 episodes of that show.
Watch the first 4, maybe 5 seasons, if you're up for 5 seasons of a whole show.
5 seasons.
After that, it kind of gets a little...
Where am I going to find the time?
It's a lot of time.
Yeah. It's real good for those first few years.
I think it still holds up.
Oh, yeah, it's still
I think
definitely good, but
it
doesn't have the charm it once had.
Probably not, yeah. Well, nothing does. You know, eventually after a while, everything just sucks.
Boss Baby's going to carry that charm
Baby.
for sequels to come.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Trey's really excited about Boss Baby.
I'm really excited about Boss Baby and Young Pope. Have you caught up on Young Pope?
No, I still have a few episodes left.
I hear you got into some shenanigans last weekend.
Oh, I'm sure he did, Trey.
Some crazy shenanigans.
You haven't watched 1 second, have you?
Young Pope just getting into mischief.
It's not what happens, Trey.
He just gets in all that mischief.
We're on to Boss Baby. Don't even worry about Young Pope.
No more. We're done with Young Pope. It's on to Boss Baby.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for Boss Baby again. Yeah.
It looks so cute. Oh my god,
it looks terrible.
Yeah,
it looks like the worst thing ever.
But he's a baby, but he's got a suit on.
And they put two movie references in the same line. He goes, "Put that cookie down," which is from Jingle All the Way, and then he says, "Only cookies are for closers," because kids are gonna recognize a Glengarry Glen Ross reference.
It's not for kids. This is an adult movie. It's about a boss
who's a baby.
Trey,
I'm getting sick of movies about like things that probably shouldn't have mind of their own and organizations that do.
Like Toy Story? You have a problem with Toy Story, Trey?
Like big like organizations because it looks like the babies are all. Have you seen the trailers for Boss Baby?
Of course he hasn't. No one has.
I'm sure he has. Franklin, have you?
No. I don't venture into that part of the internet.
He's a normal person, Trey.
He's very normal. I've seen the pictures. He's very normal. So Boss Baby, it looks like the whole kind of baby is like this big underground organization. And it's like, how do they get the infrastructure if they're babies to have all these computers and all these monitors? How are they monitoring things? Like Toy Story was like, okay, they're toys and they have to work in their own environment, to be living toys. And they only kind of know what they know. They don't know the world outside the room. They're toys. But Boss Baby's like, yeah, they go out on missions and do all this shit. No, it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. It's like B-movie. No, you don't.
Hey, B-movie was not bad.
B-movie can go to hell.
What?
You heard
Trey,
me.
why?
But like Pets, like the Pets movie.
Secret Life of Pets?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid.
I'm done with movies about things that shouldn't have consciousness that have consciousness.
So you're against life is what
I'm
you're
against
saying.
life
Okay.
and things that shouldn't have life.
Cool.
But Resident Evil 7 was great.
Yeah, I give it 7,000 thumbs up out
give
of
it
8,000.
I'd say if you want to buy it, I'd say maybe watch some people play it. It's $60. I think it's worth. I think it's a really short game. I'd say definitely try it out before you buy it.
Yeah, if there's some category between rent and buy, then
But you can't really
that's
rent
right.
anymore.
I rented it.
You're in it.
Yeah, Redbox. Redbox is great for these stupid reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid reviews.
I spent $3 on it and played it for 2 days.
There you go. You got any closing words, Franklin, on the game?
I give it a very hard out of. I don't know how hard it gets.
Okay. I don't know how hard it gets. Gives it a very hard. That's good. Okay. So anyway, this is Super GamesCast 64. This is the Blowout Network, and we have an event coming up on the Blowout Network. It's March 23rd at Club Dada. The Blowout 1 million download spectacular. You get to meet all your favorite Blowout Network characters like Jake and TC and Mike Soroy and Mike Marshall. You can go get their autograph, get their picture taken. You can go beat them down, by talking about dragons. I don't know what they like. I really don't know. And you got Different Strokes and Quaker City Nighthawks playing, all that fun stuff. Hunter Cannon's going to be out there doing his little thing with his weird hair. Yeah. You got all that stuff going on, so, you find more information somewhere. Franklin, thanks again for coming on. I know it's been kind of a scattered podcast. We're still kind of new at this, so.
It's been 6 months.
We're new at the review. So here's the thing. We do the show every week, and it's fun. And then we got to do these reviews.
And they're not fun.
They're not fun.
No, it's just very structured.
It's structured reviews.
We don't like them.
We don't like them, Franklin. We don't like them at all.
I was going into playing Resident Evil 7 being like, I'm just going to enjoy this game. I'm not going to review it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then you assholes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm sorry.
Even our guests don't like it.
No, they don't. It's always kind of awkward. Franklin, we'll get you on an episode where we're just kind of like riffing too, and we'll show you we're not all stiff and weird.
Maybe we could do a remote from Alabama.
Yeah, let's do a remote from Franklin's house in Alabama, in the bayou.
There's no bayous in Alabama.
No, there's not.
They're just called swamps.
Swamps. Okay.
Swamps.
Franklin, I guess you want to plug your Twitter and your podcast again here while we sign off.
Well, thank you. If you want to find me on Twitter or basically any other social media platform, find me at TheArcticSloth. There's a C before the T.
Arctic.
Like how the word is actually spelled.
Right.
But my podcast is called The PlayStation Report. It posts weekly on Fridays.
Okay. Fridays.
And you do like GameCube reviews?
Podcast. Oh, GameCube reviews, yes.
Okay, cool.
We talk very much about Nintendo's breadth of consoles.
Awesome.
It's really an amazing show.
Sounds like a great show.
Speaking of Zelda, we, in the future, be on the lookout for a Zelda Breath of the Wild and a Horizon Zero Dawn review.
And a Switch review, really.
Well, Switch Zelda review will be packaged.
Yeah.
Because
I
there's
don't even know
nothing else coming out for the Switch.
I don't know if you'll be able to do it, Trey. You'll be out of town when the Switches come out. I don't know if I can get yours. Gotta put them both.
Get why are you so worried about this?
Gotta put them both in my name.
Yeah. Well, you can't do that. Trust me, we'll get this. We'll work it out.
Okay.
All right.
You can't come over and you're not touching mine.
Oh, I'm touching yours.
No.
Oh, I'm touching it. You know, I'm touching it.
You won me over.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. That's it. Oh, yeah. Come over here. Yeah.
Franklin hung up.
All right. You did? Oh shit.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm still here.
Oh damn it! Get off the phone.
Yeah,
All
we're trying to have
trying
an intimate moment here.
Intimacy. All right, man.
Okay.
So anyway, be on the lookout for that. Breath of the Wild and Horizon Zero Dawn. Those are our two next reviews.
And
then
Poochie and
that,
Yoshi's.
I have no clue what we're gonna do.
Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World.
And Yoshi's Story.
Oh yeah.
Yoshi's Story. So we do a podcast weekly, like I mentioned, where we kind of just talk about more a la carte video games news. Just kind of riff a lot of times to answer Twitter questions. Just have a jolly good time.
Yeah, better than this crap.
Better than this stupid crap.
Yeah,
we have a fun time.
Language.
We talk about fun things like Young Pope and Boss Baby.
Just Boss Baby.
Just Boss Baby now. And we're really meandering. Franklin, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Anytime you want to come on, that would be great. We might even want you on for the Horizon review because I know Austin's not going to play it. I'm sorry?
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Yay.
Get your review hat on and don't enjoy the game and just think about it in a very critical way.
Awesome.
While you play it, okay?
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, with that, you can find me at CrayTreyVids on Twitter. Austin, where can we find you on Twitter?
At Helen Smeller, at SportsSturm.
At SportsSturm.
Every week.
And you're going to be on the Stars broadcast, right?
No, that's Bob.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, if you like this show, please subscribe. Please listen to the show weekly. If you like this, We do it weekly. It is Super GamesCast 64. You can find it on iTunes. You can find it on SoundCloud and the Google thing. Also, we are part of the Blowout Network. You can go listen to all your favorite Blowout Network stuff on the Blowout Network. And that's all on your favorite podcast things of choice. And there's all your fun shows like TC's Review Movies and
I don't think that's what it's
the
called.
Shake Joint and It's Just Banner and you got Drag and Brag and now you have Partial Recall. We're gonna do something with those guys pretty soon, and the fighting one.
Cool.
Anyway, thanks again, Franklin, for coming on, and we're out.
Hey, Franklin.
Yes,
I love you.
I love you too.
Goodbye.